What's up guys, Jolly Wolf King here today. Welcome to the second episode of my Please Make This Game series. For anyone new to my channel, in this series I break down the vital ingredients in making the superhero game we deserve. I mean, why should Batman or Spider-Man be the only superheroes to get fantastic video games? There are heaps more superheroes who deserve equally good games in their own right. Season 2 of Marvel's Punisher has been released. So I thought it'd be appropriate to dedicate this episode to a Punisher game. Now, I am aware the Punisher has had several video games in the past, from the original NES game to the forgotten Punisher No Mercy on the PS3, and the 2005 PS2 game. Yeah, I will admit that everything in those games, especially the graphics and gameplay, are dated. Cringe-inducing dated. But video games have evolved tremendously since the NES era. A Punisher game would benefit greatly today with an improved graphics engine and updated gameplay, under the care of a trusted, dedicated studio, of course. We already have the definitive Punisher in Jon Bernthal, so why not have a stellar Punisher game too? In this video, I'll be drawing upon various other video games, TV shows, and films, which will serve as the inspiration for the game's tone and gameplay. I'll be mainly focusing upon three categories: character, gameplay, and acting. Let's open up his character dossier and get to know the man first. The Punisher's real name is Francis Frank Castle. Frank Castle is one of the few Marvel heroes not created by Marvel juggernaut Stan Lee. Instead, Castle was created by writer Gary Conway and artists John Romita Sr. and Ross Andru. Believe it or not, Castle actually made his comic book debut in Amazing Spider-Man number 129. Like Marvel heroes Daredevil and Spider-Man, the Punisher's origins is plagued by loss and tragedy. Castle's family were brutally killed by mobsters after they witnessed the killing in action. Consumed with vengeance, Frank began hunting down and punishing every scumbag criminal in New York City as the Punisher. Unlike Daredevil and Spider-Man, the Punisher will not hesitate to kill any criminal he thinks deserves death. Castle is the epitome of an anti-hero. He is definitely on the side of good, but his actions are morally questionable. Frank will utilize extortion, kidnapping, and even torture in his brutal fight against crime. As a former soldier and war veteran, Castle is highly adept in various firearms and hand-to-hand combat. A master tactician, he employs guerrilla warfare to strategically eliminate entire criminal gangs. To terrify his enemies, the Punisher paints a white skull on a Kevlar vest, his trademark insignia. The character was first portrayed by Dolph Lundgren in the 1989 film. It was released to poor reviews. Fast forward 15 years and we have Thomas Jane in the role, and that movie also received a negative reception. Shame too, Jane had such great potential. Ray Stevenson is the third actor to play Castle in 2008's Punisher Warzone. And hey, third time's a charm, the film seemed promising, as Stevenson looked badass in that outfit. Unfortunately, it didn't fare better than its predecessors. But in 2016, Jon Bernthal donned the skull-painted vest in Daredevil Season 2. Marvel and Netflix finally served the character justice. Bernthal's performance was so well received that he continued to portray Castle in his own spin-off series. Gameplay! Because of the Punisher's expertise in firearms, the game will no doubt be a third-person cover-based shooter. It's blatantly obvious the game would be some kind of shooter. It wouldn't be a Punisher game about Frank Castle mowing down enemies with an assault rifle. I feel the cover system correlates well with Frank's military background. Furthermore, the cover system would encourage players to not rush headlong into an enemy's firing line and subsequently die. As deadly skilled as he is, the Punisher is still very much human and is susceptible to death. Players will need to think tactically, carefully maneuver around cover to eliminate enemies without getting killed. And I already have the perfect inspiration for the cover system. Yeah, Xboxers, you know what I'm getting at. What would be a better inspiration than the ultra bloody Gears of War games? Oh yes, it's an obvious inspiration source for the Punisher games' cover system. I mean, what third-person cover-based shooter has not been inspired by the Gears of War franchise? The original Gears of War revolutionized the cover system. While it wasn't the first game to incorporate it, it certainly refined the system with its quick, snappy transition in and out of cover and the simple evasion movements, like rolling into cover or vaulting over it. And it just got better in Gears of War 2 and 3. I'm a PS4 owner and the Gears games are Xbox exclusive titles. So, I haven't been able to play Gears of War 4 or Judgment, and I won't be able to play the upcoming Gears 5. But I still have fond memories playing the campaign in the ever-enjoyable Horde mode with my friends in co-op. Ah, good times. While Castle's mastery over firearms is important, I really hope the developers won't neglect his combat prowess. The Punisher is a deadly hand-to-hand combat with mastery over several martial arts. This includes Systema, Krav Maga, Muay Thai, Shorin-ryu Karate, and Ninjutsu. Of course, it's important to strike the right balance between explosive gunplay and melee combat. The Uncharted games achieve this balance beautifully. Instead of delegating reloading to the square button, commonly found in most shooters, it was instead used for the melee combat. While this did make the melee system very simplistic, I liked it. This simplified approach just allowed for a smooth transition between gunplay and hand-to-hand combat. What I'd love to see in a Punisher game is Frank would run out of ammo, and the game then allows players to disarm enemies and use their weapon against them. Oh. Weapon disarmament is particularly prominent in the Israeli martial arts Krav Maga. Additionally, both Krav Maga and Systema are known for their emphasis on inflicting as much damage as possible in a short amount of time. I can definitely envision the combat drawing cues from Mad Max, 2018's God of War, and The Last of Us. The combat in those games are brutal, with the characters pounding their enemies relentlessly and ending them with a devastating finisher. Something Castle is more than willing to do. Since Castle isn't as morally restrained as Daredevil, prepare to see a lot of blood. Yeah. Level variety. Although the game will retain the standard gameplay mechanics in third-person shooters, the real challenge for the developers is keeping the game exciting and fresh. Hear me out. You're playing something like, for say, Spec Ops Line. You find yourself in an open space with conveniently placed cover. Suddenly, enemies appear. You take cover, only to peek out to fire at enemies, until all enemies are down and you move on, only to rinse and repeat it for 6 to 10 hours. Boring and monotonous. That's the problem with most shooters today. Shooting games have to mix it up once in a while, and I can already picture several different scenarios for a Punisher game. There could be a nighttime scenario where Frank has to stealthily infiltrate a base. The game can even include that feature in Metal Gear Solid 5, where players tag enemies to monitor their whereabouts. A stealth level is a great opportunity for players to employ Frank's tactical skills. Maybe a brawl has broken out in a bar or prison and Castle will need to throw some fists. The game could have Frank undertaking an assassination mission, which requires him to snipe his target from a faraway distance. The Punisher is a master interrogator, so throw in something reminiscent of Splinter Cell Conviction. There are many ways to evolve a Punisher game to more than just a shooter. Acting! You gotta find the right actors for the characters. Obviously, I'm gonna start things off with the Punisher. I'll admit, guys, this was a tough choice. I mean, Jon Bernthal has been killing it as Frank Castle. He brings such raw intensity and humanity to the role. I honestly thought I couldn't find anyone else for the role, but after a few hours of brainstorming and searching, I finally found an actor. Brent Foster, the voice of Max Rockatansky himself in the Mad Max game.
You okay, baby? Come here. Come on. Come on. Okay.
Nobody will remember my name.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I'll remember. I promise you.
Honestly, I was close to picking Bernthal. However, I see great potential in Foster as Castle. Actually, Max and Frank share very close similarities. They're both hardened loners, haunted by the memory of their family's violent deaths. Max and Frank are both fierce fighters, willing to kill any enemies that have the misfortune crossing their paths. Brent Foster actually has a martial arts background, with him being a 6th Dan black belt in Taekwondo, 1st Dan in Hapkido, and 1st Dan in Hwang Rang Do. Hopefully I said that last one right. If that wasn't enough, his fighting arsenal also includes Muay Thai, freestyle wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and knife fighting. Foster's martial arts skills were incredibly captured in the TNT series The Last Ship, like in this awesome scene here. Now you can't have a Punisher game without his arch nemesis, Jigsaw. No! This Jigsaw! Oh god, that's horrifying! Yeah, you can thank Castle for giving him that, handsome mug. Before getting his, facelift, Jigsaw's real name was Billy Russo. Jigsaw was first portrayed by Dominic West in Punisher Warzone, with a very comic book accurate appearance. Oh man, look at that. Prince Caspian himself, Ben Barnes, took up the role in Netflix's Punisher series. Now I believe Troy Baker would make a brilliant Jigsaw. Over the years, Troy Baker has proved himself as a powerhouse actor in the video game industry, with his roles as Booker DeWitt from BioShock Infinite and Joel from The Last of Us being some of his best work. However, for me, his talents really shines when he plays villains. Pagan men.
I'm with Ajay Ghale. Help. Help! From your diaphragm! Help!
The Joker.
You just can't get it through your thick scalp. Ugh. We both exist because of them! Give up!
Two-Face.
The only way to get by in this place is to get ourselves some respect. Fear. That's how we get respect. Show them all that we do things. We should be fair, though. This is a place of justice, after all. Screw justice. Kill her, and they'll all fear us.
With his talents and acting range, he would deliver a stellar Jigsaw performance. I mean, from Baker's Two-Face role, he's proven he can play physically and mentally scarred criminals really well. The last character to cast is David Linus Lieberman, codename Micro. Micro is usually depicted as Frank's sidekick. As a master computer hacker, Micro usually helps Frank from behind the scenes. Actor Jason Spacek would make a great Micro, largely due to him playing opposite Brent Foster in Mad Max. In the game, Jason Spacek played the role of Chumbucket, Max's mechanic sidekick. The chemistry between the two survivors was definitely one of the game's highlights. Chumbucket's overzealous nature was entertaining to watch, especially when contrasted to Max's stoic demeanor.
This ain't her car. It's just a mess of parts.
No. She's knowledge from the numinous, divinely inspired. She wills herself upon this world.
It's gonna be 8 cylinders, nothing less.
We will get there. Yes. First, we have to get her beautificial body.
Show me where it is.
Foster and Spacek acted off each other brilliantly, and their chemistry would transfer well in a Punisher game. Also, did you guys know that Jason Spacek is also a computer programmer? How about that? That's it for this video, guys. What do you guys hope to see in a Punisher game? Who would you cast as the Punisher or Jigsaw? Please share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my content, please hit that red subscribe button down below. Also, hit that little bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Feel free to follow me on social media at Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. I put all my links in the description down below. By the way, I also made a Please Make a Daredevil game, which you can view up here. Alright guys, Jolly Wolf King is signing out for today. You can catch me again in my next video.